When people think of the Rolling Stones, they often picture a band that thrived on danger, excess, and unshakable confidence. But even in a group known for its swagger, there were moments that cut deep. Moments of miscalculation, regret, and consequences that echoed far beyond the studio walls. Among all their songs and recordings, there was one that Mick Jagger carried with him as a source of bitter reflection, a track born out of anger and impulsive choices. It became a recording he would regret forever. By the late 1960s, the Rolling Stones had positioned themselves as the darker alternative to the Beatles. While the Fab Four embraced experimentation and polished creativity, the Stones leaned into grit, blues, and controversy. Their music was raw, their image dangerous. But this edge sometimes tipped into recklessness, and the recording of Brown Sugar on Sticky Fingers in 1970 stands as one of the most controversial moments in their history. The song came together quickly, built on Keith Richards' guitar riff and Jagger's lyrics. On the surface, it was energetic, catchy, and instantly memorable, exactly the kind of song that could cement their status as rock's most provocative band. But beneath that infectious groove lay lyrics steeped in themes that were shocking, exploitative, and deeply problematic. Even for a band that thrived on pushing boundaries, this was different. Mick Jagger admitted years later that the track, while musically powerful, carried words he could no longer defend. It wasn't just about being offensive, it was about realizing how casually he had leaned on dangerous subject matter, dressing it up as art and performance. In his own reflection, the song became a reminder of youthful arrogance, the kind of mistake that once seemed bold but later felt indefensible. For the rest of the band, especially Keith Richards, the track was viewed as a classic Stones number, unfiltered, unapologetic, and emblematic of their identity. It became a fan favorite in live shows, a staple of their concerts for decades, but for Jagger, the regret never left. He began to soften its presence on stage, even altering lyrics or skipping verses altogether as the years went by. The discomfort was written on his face when discussing it, as though the song had become a ghost haunting him. The recording session itself reflected the Stones' chaotic environment in 1969 and 1970. The band had just survived the disastrous Altamont concert, an event that symbolized the death of the 1960s counterculture dream. They were working on Sticky Fingers while coping with drug busts, lineup instability, and the lingering shadow of Brian Jones's death. In that haze of turmoil, they leaned into danger almost instinctively, writing without restraint. Brown Sugar was the result, raw, driving, but deeply flawed. The album itself became one of their most celebrated, with its iconic Andy Warhol-designed zipper cover and songs that cemented their place at the top of rock music. But for Mick Jagger, the triumph was bittersweet. Every time he heard Brown Sugar, he was reminded of how recklessness in art can cross lines that no longer feel justifiable. Over time, the song sparked debate far beyond the Stones' fan base. Critics revisited its lyrics, questioning how such themes could have been celebrated. Cultural conversations about race, gender, and exploitation grew louder, and Brown Sugar was repeatedly cited as an example of music that aged poorly. While Richards continued to defend the track as pure Stones energy, Jagger distanced himself. The regret deepened as the world around him changed. By the 2010s, the Stones began phasing the song out of their live set lists. Fans noticed, debates raged, but Jagger seemed firm in his stance. The song that once crowned their dangerous reputation had become a burden, an artifact of a younger self he no longer recognized. And in that decision lay the heart of his regret, a realization that not every song meant for rebellion stands the test of time. The recording of Brown Sugar is more than a piece of music history. It's a reminder of the thin line between boldness and recklessness, between artistic provocation and damaging missteps. For Mick Jagger, it was the one recording that never sat comfortably with him, no matter how loud the applause or how enduring the legacy. A song that once thrilled him became the one he would regret forever.